I've been using this cheap down jacket from Decathlon for over 3 years now. It's called the 4-Class MT100 and you can currently buy it for 45 euros or $48.36. And you can definitely tell that I've been using it for quite a while because it isn't as puffy anymore and it has holes pretty much everywhere. But 3 months ago I upgraded to the Outdoor Vitals Nova Pro down jacket, which currently costs $250. To give you a perspective, for the price of this down jacket you could buy 5 of the cheaper ones and still have $8.20 left, which you could spend on another down jacket for your smartphone. Or maybe not. You could literally spend it on anything else, but not that. So is spending hundreds of dollars on a good quality down jacket worth it? Or does it maybe make more sense to buy a cheaper one instead? I've been using both of them for quite a while now, so here are my 2 cents. Both of these puffy jackets are made with Dawn insulation instead of a synthetic one. Dawn is a natural material, it's essentially bird feathers, so unfortunately Dawn puffy jackets are much more expensive compared to synthetic puffy jackets. For hiking, most people prefer down jackets because they have a much better weight to warmth ratio, and also in a packed state they take up way less space. The cheaper jacket uses 800 fill Dawn insulation and the more expensive one 850 fill Dawn insulation. This just refers to the quality of the feathers used in both of these Dawn jackets. Both of them loft up somewhat similarly and they also give a similar amount of warmth. That said, there are 2 key differences here. In the cheaper jacket there's much less insulation or feathers compared to the more expensive one. To be precise, this one has 76 grams of insulation and this one 150 grams, which is roughly twice as much. And more insulation means that this jacket will be much warmer. The other difference is that the insulation used in the more expensive jacket is treated with a water repellent finish and it's also mixed with a bit of synthetic insulation. In the cheaper jacket, it's just 100% pure down. And the main problem with this is that if the cheaper jacket gets wet, the feathers used in the insulation will collapse and they won't keep you warm anymore. When the more expensive jacket gets wet, the feathers lose only about 30% of their loft because they're treated with a water repellent finish, which means that they don't collapse as much. So essentially, if the more expensive jacket gets wet, it won't keep you as warm, but it will still work quite well. Whereas with the cheaper one, it will pretty much stop working completely. Both of these jackets are made from a synthetic material that's treated with a water repellent finish. When you first receive them in light rain, most of the water will just bead off, but over time the water repellent finish will wear off and you will have to reapply it, even with the more expensive jacket. The cheaper jacket is made from polyamide and polyester and the more expensive one from 20 denier nylon. Even though the more expensive one is made from a slightly more durable fabric, I would say that both of them are really fragile. If you stand near a fire or you walk on very overgrown trails, chances are that you will get holes in the fabric. So you always have to be very, very careful with that. And even if you do get a hole, the good news is that it's not the end of the world because you can fix it temporarily with a piece of duct tape, or you can fix it permanently with some gear repair glue, which is what I do. I would say that the key difference between these 2 jackets in the build quality is how they're stitched together. On the cheaper one, there's a long stitch running across the whole baffle. In the more expensive one, there aren't any seams between the baffles, and they're also spread out in multiple shorter sections instead of a one long baffle. This is done because you always lose a bit of heat through the seams because they contain a lot of small holes and there isn't any insulation in the seam. In terms of weight, the cheaper jacket from Decathlon weighs 290 grams, while the more expensive and warmer jacket from Outdoor Vitals 411 grams. The cheaper jacket from Decathlon doesn't come with a lot of features, but at least it has some. For example, you can pack it down inside its own pocket, you can cinch down the waist if it is too large for you, and it also comes with YKK zippers. This one, on the other hand, comes with a ton of different features. For example, it has pit zips in case you're sweating too much and need more ventilation. It also has a hole on each sleeve for your thumb to make your hands a bit warmer and allow you to put on your gloves a bit more easily. It also has drawstrings to tighten the hood in case it's too windy outside or if the hood is too large for your head. And it also has another drawstring on the back to keep the hood back in case it's going in front of your vision when you're tilting your head. And in addition to this, it also comes with all of the features from the cheaper Decathlon jacket. Honestly, for most people, I would recommend to go with the cheaper Decathlon down jacket just because of how insanely cheap it is, especially if you're new to hiking or you're only doing it occasionally. If you rarely go out in temperatures below -5°C, then this jacket will be perfectly fine. And you can always buy a size larger than your actual size and wear additional fleeces and base layers underneath to make you warmer. But at the same time, I also think that a more expensive down jacket like this one from Outdoor Vitals is really worth it in certain situations and for certain hikers. I would recommend it for people who hike a lot, especially in late autumn and winter, and for people who like to trek in higher altitudes like I am right now. This thing keeps me much warmer than the cheaper Decathlon jacket, and it only weighs 120 grams more. I also think it's really important that this jacket will still work even if it does get wet. Now obviously this thing costs a lot, but keep in mind that you won't be using it as your daily jacket and it will stay in your closet for the most part of the year. In the warmer months, you can use another cheaper down jacket like the one made by Decathlon to preserve this one just because of how insanely expensive it is. And that's pretty much it. I hope it helped. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!